Hello YouTube, and welcome to my Guild Wars 2 Secretly Meta series, and this is part 5 of the series, and I will be showing you my engineer build. Basically, I bet you're already shocked from the title and seeing here that it's all gyros. Now, people have discredited gyros for far too long, basically saying how weak they are and how they don't work and they're awful, and there's just a lot of random hate for them, and nobody's even really tested them. They just kind of looked at the numbers and was like, nope, they're no good, I'm going to keep using what I have. Well, I'm here to tell you that they are completely wrong, and I have tanked 3 people at one time and survived for a very, very long amount of time before they were finally able to defeat me. I will say that I did not originally come up with this build. It was made by my friend Jacob, who the engineer is his main, and we play together all the time, and he discovered this build himself because he wanted to see if he could make gyros a really good build, and this is what he made. So props to him for finding a gyro build that absolutely destroys the competition. So as always, I will start with the traits. So it's inventions, tools, and scrapper. So in inventions, you have your minor trait here. So basically, using your heal skill triggers a cleansing pulse around you. So you basically remove the conditions shown there whenever you activate your heal skill, which in this case is your healing gyro, right here. So it just helps to remove Marcondi. You know, it only removes one of them, so, but it's still helpful. Here. You drop a smoke bomb whenever you're basically hit by a crowd control, and so that's basically going to blind them, preventing them from hitting you with another one or a follow-up attack. So pretty helpful for your defense. Here you got your next minor trait. When you use a heal skill, apply regeneration to nearby allies. So basically you plop down your gyro, and as you can see there in the top power, it gives you regeneration. So helpful for team support and you know, not only for supporting yourself but you know, your team. And here we have mecha legs. So movement speed is increased. So this is a base increase in movement speed of 25%. Basically because you're using gyros, your movement speed is impaired and you can't run speedy kits and stuff like that. It's usually a fan favorite. So we run mecha legs instead. Plus it's going to reduce all movement impairing effects by 33%, though this build has a lot of really good Condi cleanse, so we don't have to worry about that, but if we can't get rid of it, then it's removed by 33%, and it's all good anyway. Moving on, healing power is increased while you have regeneration. That's why you saw the extra healing power on this minor trait, is because you have this one as well. So now your healing is going to do even more when you have regen, and you're going to have regen just from using your medic gyro here. So pretty helpful. It helps. Every little bit helps. And here is you place proximity mine and a med kit at your location whenever you critically hit an attack. Now I will say that this build is not a critical build. It's basically you know, soldiers. But you will critical every now and again, and so it's still worthy of having. And compared to the other traits, I mean, we were messing around with it. This one's absolutely useless because we're not using turrets. And but this one could be helpful because the percentage of healing you apply to yourself is shared with nearby allies. So when me and him run this build together, we'll sometimes swap it out for this. But usually people are granting Fury to each other, so we tend to keep this one. But it's all based on preference and what you like. Here we have in tools, basically tool belt skills grant vigor, so you know, you use these, you get vigor. Simple as that. Extra dodge rolling, always helpful. Here you use utility goggles whenever you're blinded or disabled. This is where the self fury comes into play. Another reason why we use this trait, because basically blind and disabled, meaning you know you get hit by a control effect, is pretty common. Plus this is a break stun. It's going to give you blindness immunity for 10 seconds, really helpful against fighting thieves more than anything. And the extra fury, you know, helps to pull off this trait up here, which only has a cooldown of 2 seconds, so not too bad at all. I really like this one. And for here, reduce recharge of tool belt skills, no explanation needed, it just recharges all of these. Lock on, basically striking a foe while they're stealthed reveals them. This is really helpful for fighting mesmers, longbow rangers, and thieves more than anything else. It'll also grant you vigor and vulnerability, so good for stacking lots of damage and at the same time as giving you a better defense. Here for the last minor trait and tools, you have when your endurance is full, deal additional damage. You will be dodge rolling a lot, so you don't always get this 10% bonus, but you do gain vigor from all your tool belt skills, amongst a few other things. So, I mean, it's gonna be pretty darn helpful, especially when you have this, because endurance regeneration is increased by 50%, so it's already 50% faster, and when you have vigor, it's another 50% faster, so you're regenerating endurance literally twice as fast as a normal person without vigor or this trait line. So, I mean, you can dodge roll a lot, so you will get this 10%, but you should be dodge rolling a lot, so not always, can't always count on this 10%, but it's there to help you when you do meet that circumstance. So here, first minor trait, Scrapper basically gives you access to the function gyro, all the gyros, and your hammer. Basically what function gyro is, this is what makes Scrappers really overpowered in my opinion, because the function gyro can stomp people from a distance of 900, as you can see up there. So basically you could somebody could be downed really far away, you could just select them and hit finish them, and you send a function gyro, literally spawns right over top of them and starts to stomp them. This would also work for reviving your allies. You could send in a gyro to revive them, and it's just really helpful, and this in combination of the elite trait that I have for Scrapper makes this really annoying. And so function gyro also works like if they're up higher, like on Niflhel, if you're at the center point and somebody is up on the ledge, you can still use function gyro to finish them up top. Really helpful. Here you have shocking speed. So basically using a leap finisher or a blast finisher and a lightning field applies super speed. I use this because of the elite trait that I have for Scrapper. I'll get to that in a second, but basically if you combo field a lightning field, you're gaining super speed, which also works in conjunction with this trait here, but I'll go over that just as soon as I get through this. So basically whenever you revive an ally or finish an enemy, you grant boons to nearby allies. It's going to give you super speed and might as well. So really helpful considering this trait here. So you regenerate health when you have swiftness and or super speed at an interval of 1 second. Basically, you are going to have super speed and swiftness almost all the time, because when your gyros detonate, they're going to have a lightning field, and first of all, they're already going to give you super speed, but they throw down a lightning field when they're destroyed that you can combo off, combo finisher here, combo finisher here, so you got tons and tons of combo finishers for your lightning fields to gain more super speed. So you're going to be generating a lot of health on top of the regeneration that you're already going to be getting, plus you got, your bulwark gyro. So you're really tanky with this setup, and you get even more tanky later with the sigils, rune, and amulet choice that I will get to as soon as I finish up with the traits. So here you have duration of outgoing stuns and dazes are increased. The duration of stuns and dazes applied to you are decreased. So basically it reduces crowd control on you while increasing crowd control on the opponents. This build is an interrupt lock build. It's not a stun lock, it's like a daze lock. Though it does have some stuns here, and but see, it applies daze, and comboing off lightning fields does daze, and detonating gyros does daze. So me and my friend Jaco call this an interrupt lock build. So that's basically how this works, gain swiftness, super speed, from all the gyros detonating. You get a ton of regeneration, your healing power is increased when you have regen, which you get from, your gyros, and you can abuse combo fields with your Shreddo gyro, because it's a combo finisher whirl, and you get to place where it is. So basically you detonate a gyro, you can like put Shredder right in the middle of it and throw dazing bolts out at everybody, constantly dazing them. So basically if they have 10 stacks of stability or something, that doesn't even matter. It's going to get rid of it really, really fast, because you can see it combo intervals every half second. So this kills stability, so even if they have stability, it's gone. It's just gone. And that's basically how this build works. But I'll explain a few more things after I explain this. So, Soldier's Amulet. It's always a surprising choice to see Soldier's Amulet in builds, but it works really, really well. This build does not really need the criticals, though for this trait, you would want to critical, but criticaling is not the focus of this build. This build is meant as an interrupt lock, so increased toughness and vitality, always really, really helpful. Toughness is good for resisting burst damage, vitality good for both burst and condi, so, it's just a standard choice. And here we have Rune of the Scrapper. Makes sense because we're a scrapper, right? It doesn't make sense for all scrapper builds, but for this one it does, because damage is reduced by 7% when people are within 600 units of an enemy. So basically that means if they're within 600 units of you, you take 7% less damage. So the closer they are to you, the less damage you're taking 7% less damage. That's basically straightforward. It's pretty easy to understand that. I use hammer, obviously that's just the obvious choice for scrappers. There's nothing too terribly wrong with using rifle, but the hammer is better in my opinion and a lot of other engineers' opinion. So use hammer if you're using scrapper. That's just rule of thumb. So we're using Bloodlust and Force. These could be switched out for just about anything you'd like, as long as they're not, critical based. But Bloodlust I've found to be super helpful, because this build is so tanky, you're just not gonna die. And I'll explain why once I get to the skills. But you have at maximum increased 250 power, and with this amount of power you already have, that's pretty damn high. So, really helpful. Plus you get 5% added damage just from using Sigil of Force. This is the one you could switch out for something else if you wanted. But I would just recommend using this just to get your flat damage out. And yeah, that's basically all there is for all of that. You can notice the high amounts of armor rating and health and power here due to the Soldier's Amulet. So, I assume most of you are unfamiliar with gyros because nobody uses them. Because everybody has the opinion that they're terrible, and a few select people that know about the true power of gyros, so to speak, are going to have a massive advantage, because people aren't going to know how to fight gyros. Me and Jacob were playing on Fire, and it was literally us two in the center in the graveyard, and literally all 5 of their team was fighting us two, and the rest of our teammates were off going for the Lord. And basically me and him were able to defeat all 5 people. We out-tanked their entire team, which consisted of an elementalist, 1 thief, a warrior, a guardian, and 1 ranger. So they had a really well balanced team, but 2 full gyro engineers were able to out-tank them and defeat all of them using interrupt lock. So basically, when you open in the fight, you want to use this immediately. So because of that huge damage spike, the vulnerability, plus it's a stun, gives you that combo field lightning that I talk so much about. So use Thunderclap on them, it stuns them, get up close and personal, throw down Spare Capacitor, another lightning field, which is it's also a daze, so stun them, use your 3 skill to catch up if you have to, then use your Spare Capacitor, Then throw your shredder gyro down on top of it, and let that get to work. Use your number 2 electro whirl on them. They still probably can't move because they're they got stunned, but they're being constantly dazed, so they might be running around a bit. Once shredder gyro is basically done with its first set of whirling and the lightning fields disappear, detonate it to daze again, gives you super speed, helps getting that regeneration rolling. Summon your bulwark gyro, because bulwark gyro will reduce damage you take by 50% while it's out, and so basically you keep bulwark gyro out until it's close to dying, then detonate it for the lightning field. Then these skills should definitely be recharged, so you can combo off that to get more super speed, which gives more regen, etc, etc. Use medic gyro. The second you summon it and it gets that heal off, detonate it. There is no point in keeping the gyro out, because you see that it basically heals you for 4,500 and then to 8,200, and then it continuously heals you over time, but there's no need to keep it out. So summon it, get the heal off, destroy it, get the daze and the interrupt, and if you have to, sneak gyro is your escape. Use it to get away, and if they're gonna destroy stealth or sneak gyro, you just detonate it, interrupt, gives you super speed. You can combo field off the lightning for more if you need it. When you're running around and right before you use your 3 skill, use your F1, because this is going to put up a water field, as you can see there. And water fields, when you combo off them, pulse heals to you and nearby allies. This is the one main reason why me and Jacob were able to out-tank the 5 people, because we would use this combo field water on each other to give ourselves protection and vigor. And when you use this is, as you can see, number of impacts 3. So you do 3 separate leaps, and each one is a leap finisher. So basically when you use this, you leap, leap, and leap, comboing off the water field all 3 times, bursting like 1,000 something health each time. It's really, really helpful. Here with your F2, you basically generate a poison cloud at a radius of 300. This is a combo field poison, also helpful with shredder gyro, because he can combo field off this as well as this. He'll throw healing bolts if you put him in your F1. You put him in your F2, he does poison bolts, which throws poison everywhere. So really helpful. This is your main one. Whenever spare capacitor comes up, you should use it. Does quite a bit of damage, as you can see there, but it not only does that, it dazes for 2.5 seconds. So this build is all about just preventing people from doing anything. Daze is not as good as stun, because stun will actually keep someone still, but daze is still just as effective as stun in the fact that you still can't do anything while you have daze, and if people use a stun break, they just basically wasted it with the amount of daze this build can do. So really, stability does nothing to save you from this build, nor does stun break. So this is basically the ultimate interrupt lock build, why this build works so effectively. Now here, this is one of my favorites because it's called Defense Field, and it basically puts up a giant bubble around you, and you can still move while you're using this, and for 5 seconds, it puts up this huge dome. I'll show you. My game's lagging, but it puts up a giant dome around you, like this big, and it will reflect projectiles outward. So basically, dragon hunters and rangers got nothing on this, and mesmers using staff or scepter. Still not showing it. What the hell? Alright, whatever. Oh, there it was for just a second. Whatever. It's there. It's really big. It was great. Me and Jacob could just alternate this back and forth, because you see the recharge on it is really not all that long. So, it was just really, really fun. And here we have Detection Pulse. This one is really, really helpful for fighting thieves and mesmers, because you can reveal them for 6 seconds. What was really funny is the mesmer's downed ability, when they hit the number 2, they stealth and teleport away and summon an illusion, So basically, when I see someone going for a stomp on a mesmer, and the mesmer does the teleport thing away, I can hit my detection pulse, and it will reveal them, and the person will still pull off the stomp. and it's just really funny to, you know, watch them be like, the hell just happened. It's just so funny, and it's absolutely great. I forgot to mention the purge gyro, by the way. This one is your main source of condi removal. Basically every 3 seconds it removes 2 conditions. You know, not too bad at all. But you do need to detonate it if you see it's probably going to die, or you just need to get the dazes off and the lightning fields. So, you know, detonate it when you have to, but this is remove condi, and as you can see, all of the gyros have the same cooldown of 20 seconds. You summon it, you use it, it's got 20-second cooldown. All of them have 20-second cooldowns. Even the elite skill has 20 seconds of cooldown. So this build has really nice cooldowns on it. The Bulwark Gyro keeps you alive, Shredder Gyro is your damage and main source of interrupt. You know, it's just a really good build, and more people need to get over the stereotype that gyros are bad and to give gyros a chance. And hammer skills I've already briefly gone over, but I'll go over the ones that I haven't. So here's your shock shield. Basically this blocks attacks coming from in front of you. It blocks all attacks from in front of you, including melee, because it has a block duration of 2 seconds. It also does damage to people really close to you and inflicts 10 stacks of vulnerability. So really nice for up close fights and for blocking, you know, rangers and dragon hunters from shooting you. This will also reflect missiles, if you didn't know that. So you got a lot of reflect missiles, you know, F4, your 4 ability and your 2 ability, and your auto attack is a might stack and vulnerability stack. So really nice, and that's basically the build. Please like and subscribe. Stay in touch for the next parts and for combat videos of me playing this build. I'm sure you guys want to see this gyro build more than anything else, because you're in disbelief of how it worked. I was in disbelief when I was told that I needed to try gyros, but I did, and I don't regret it at all. It's one of the most fun engineer builds I've ever played, ever. And that's basically it. Make sure to comment below questions, comments, and concerns. Alright, thanks everyone, and have a good day.